Just when you think you've set up a great challenge for Football Manager, you're really looking forward to it, the game goes and screws you over. In a very positive way in any other save. Roll the intro. Hello and welcome back to the Botafogo save, where we are about to take on Fluminense in the Rio State Championship, where we sit second behind Flamengo. We've already qualified for the semi-final knockout stages, which is amazing. We've been having a fantastic run of form. If we go into the schedule, let's have a look at it. As you can see, we've been playing around with formations a little bit. We started with the 5-1-1-3, which got us the 2-0 win against the Serie D team. Odo, I still don't know how to say their name. Resende, we drew 2-2, which was a little bit annoying, but we did get Rafael sent off in that one. And we lost 3-1 to Flamengo, changing it up to a sort of 4-2-3-1. We're sort of mixing it up a little bit, seeing what we could do. We didn't play brilliantly, so went back to a 5-1-1-3 DM wing back wide formation. And we got a 1-1 draw against Vasco da Gama, which was, not too bad, to be honest. Volta Redondo turned up. We beat them 5-1, changing to a 4-2-3-1 DM AM wide. So we've been mixing the formations around, seeing what's happening. And Che got a hat-trick. And I thought, okay, we're going to try and use Che in a sort of different system and a different sort of manner. So we played this game against Madureira. I mean, this is not a series for me getting names right, is it? Madureira. And if we hover over this, you can see for 48 minutes, we played a 5-1-3-1 DM AM wing-back formation. And for the second half, we played a 4-2-2-2 with DM formation. And look at when the goals went in. We scored in the 46th, the 63rd, the 82nd, and the 90th. And I was like, oh, okay, we might be onto something with this 4-2-2 formation with the players we have available. And we've used it since then for 94 minutes, 93 minutes, and 93 minutes, and haven't lost. So we got a 4-1 win, a 1-0 win, and a 4-2 win in there as well, which is absolutely lovely. We're scoring lots of goals. We're conceding lots of goals. We're winning lots of penalties. It's very entertaining. It's very, very entertaining for the fans. But yeah, it's going pretty well. And this is what the system looks like. So we've abandoned the 5 at the back. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't. I cannot get 5 at the back systems to work on Football Manager, right? And I feel like I'm quite a decent tactician on Football Manager. So we've gone with a 4-2-2-2, asymmetric, lopsided, however you want to describe it. But we've taken a few little changes here and there. We've stuck with the Segundo Volante is such a good role in this Football Manager that I feel like it's one of my favourites, and I sort of want to get it in there. So yeah, this is how it works. We've got a goalkeeper, 2 centre-backs who are always on defend, which is fine. A ball-playing defender, which is Canu, who can actually play with the ball at his feet, which is good. Jonathan Silva at the moment at left-back, but he sorts of rotates with Carlinhos in there on a wing-back on attack, and we'll get onto that in a minute. And then Rafael at right wing-back, who is an inverted wing-back, right? This is what we don't want, is we don't want him being a normal wing-back on support or attack, because he's going to run into Luis Fernando, who now plays as a winger, not an inverted winger. We keep Luis Fernandez keeping the width. He stays out on that right-hand side. He stays pretty wide to give us an option. The Segundo Volante will run into the gaps between the attacking midfielder, Juninho in this case, and Luis Fernandez, who is holding the width, so they don't get in each other's way. And as he runs up, Rafael pops in to this gap that he's leaving to keep us a defensive sort of square, which is good. Now, at the moment, teams aren't really exploiting our wings, which seems to be playing into our hands a little bit, because obviously Jonathan Da Silva's bombing on up here somewhere. Rafael's sitting in along here, which means we could be quite susceptible down the wings. But at the moment, it's not really happening that way. Fabinho as a ball-winning midfield just sits in the middle, sits with the this square block that I guess you can call it, that we have in terms of Klaus Canu, Rafael in here, and Fabinho up there. Rafael does sometimes go up the right-hand side as well, but most of the time he sits in this gap. On to then there's forward players, where we've got this lopsided 2 up front. So Vinicius Lopez is playing, he played in the last game. Generally, it's Che that sits in there. So Che generally sits here as a deep lying forward to come, pick the ball up, hold on to it. You know, he's got a little bit of strength. It's not amazing, but his actual passing ability at 13, his first touch, his dribbling, his decisions and his off-the-ball movement mean that he's very good at actually picking this ball up, holding on to it, waiting for the runners and then passing the ball through, which is great. If we look at his individual instructions, we've got him on shoot less often, so that he actually holds onto the ball and doesn't make silly decisions. Roam from position, so he actually drifts centrally when there's space, he drifts wider when there's space, and we get him to start wider and cut in. So when we've got the ball, if Jonathan Silva comes in, you see it in the 3D match engine that Vinicius Lopez or Che, whoever's playing out there, sort of drifts wide and then drifts back in to create the space for Jonathan Silva, and it just seems to be working really, really well. And then you come on to Nascimento, who was massively struggling. We just play him as an advanced forward, no individual instructions at all. But Nascimento, who was really struggling up front on his own, now seems to be able to get into space behind the defenders because one of them at least is following the deep lying forward. So when they're tightly marked, it gives space for Nascimento to run in or opens up for Juninho as Barreto puts forward. Fernando stays so far wide that he is taking one of the defenders away and opening up a bit of space, and it's just working. I think it's really, really good to see it work. And you know, I've played all of these games now, like myself. I haven't given any to the assistant manager. These are competitive games, so I've played them. I've been watching what's happening, and yeah, we've been scoring lots of goals, playing really well, and Nascimento is up for the Young Player of the Competition award, which is fantastic to see, really, when you know, we had a bit of trouble at the beginning and we've got through it and sorted it out, and yeah, it's good. That's why I'm thinking about doing my top 5 tips of how to make a tactic on Football Manager 2022. So if that's something you're interested to see, leave a like on the video, leave me a comment down below saying that's a video you'd like to see, and I might produce that, because yeah, I don't know, I've seen other people do those sorts of videos. They seem to go down pretty well, and I think there's certain things that are either not said or not represented well enough in terms of the tactical engine. And I'm not talking about how to exploit the match engine. I'll be talking about what you should be thinking about with the tactics. It's something I've got in my head, and I just don't know whether to potentially do it as a video or not. So let me know down below. I know people in Discord are a little bit would be very good, very happy to see that sort of video. So I'll be interested to see about the wider FM community that watch the video. So yeah, let me know. Right, on to the way that Football Manager has ruined my game. We're on the finances page. We've got £17 million in the bank, or £17.5 million to be precise. Oh, yeah. We've actually made a loss of 5.695 million this month. We'll get onto that in a minute. Yeah. It's annoying, isn't it? When you've got a really rich owner who just pumps money into the club. As you'll see on screen now, I took a screenshot of it. £20 million he pumped into the club. £20 million. I was like, oh my God, I've got to go and look to see who this guy is. So yes, I looked up who is Jon Textor, and it turns out he's quite a wealthy man. Yeah, he is the CEO of FaceBank, which is a bank, like Football TV, which is part of FaceBank Group. He owns part of Crystal Palace and Botafogo. It's just incredible. He is the great-great-grandson of the vice president and director of DuPont. Now, if you don't know what DuPont is a very wealthy New York Stock Exchange top 100 chemical company. That's what I was looking for, chemical company. And he's got loads of money. He's got loads and loads of money. So I don't know what to do with this save anymore, because we're not actually bankrupt. He's put the money into the club, which means our debt has gone down significantly. We're now only £8 million in terms of net debt. We still do obviously have to pay off the loan. I don't think the game ever allows you to pay off a loan earlier on. So I don't know. Let me know. I mean, Bankrupt Botafogo will be the title of the save, because that's what I've called it. But yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know. Where do you want to take it? Where should we take it? And then the next thing is, we got loads of money. So I immediately asked the board, can we go and invest it in the club? And they said, yeah, sure. So we've improved the training facilities. That's being done for quite a wedge of cash. And we've asked to improve youth recruitment, which way they went, yeah, all right. We know you haven't been here that long, but yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. So it's dramatically changed the angle of the save. It may make it a shorter save in terms of being able to do what we want to do. But let me know, what do we think about the rules? What do we think about transfers? You know, I've been reading and replying to your comments on episode 1. This does sort of throw a spanner in the works when your owner is just sort of like, here, have a load of cash and see what we can do with it. Yeah, interested to know your thoughts. Let me know down below for sure. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Anyway, there has been a transfer. We have sold Ronald. Well, not quite yet. He is on his way out. We have loaned out Erison, which is a striker I was looking to bring into the team. He's another advanced forward, obviously. But with Nascimento playing so well and the slight change of formation, I thought, we could afford to let Erison go out on loan. Something the board aren't too happy with. But he is playing very well at the moment out there for them. He's got 3 player of the matches, 2 assists, and 1 goal in the league. So he seems to be performing very well down in Serie D at the moment. So good for Erison. Hopefully he keeps on learning and plying his trade out there and doing well. We're selling Ronald to Nacional for £31,000. Just a player that I don't think was ever really going to cut it. He wasn't making the team when he is at the club, and he's still not making the team when he's transferring away from the club. So I sort of feel like it's the right decision. Doesn't like big matches, isn't ready to play at this level, won't really be improving. It was sort of like a bit of a no-brainer, really, to let him go. So Ronald McDonald is out. There has been a few more staff brought in as well because we got a bit more of the cash influx. So we'll ignore the reserves at the moment. They don't really matter. But physio, we brought in Feliciano Fontura, 15 physiotherapy. So he'll be pretty good at his job. But he won't be as good as Ismail Liu, who has 20 physiotherapy. So excellent. We're glad that Ismail is in to help us here. We have a new head of sports science in Rafael Gabato, 40-year-old Brazilian, coming in and going to be a good job doing our sports science stuff. And that's about it, because all the others are reservy people, which isn't a problem. Although this guy, is it this guy? This guy has been brought in as our reserve team fitness coach. He could very easily be any sort of coach you wanted for my first team. So we're going to keep an eye on him and potentially promote him up when we get a few more spaces in the staff system. But yeah, we're filling out the backroom staff. We've got a massive cash injection. I don't know what that means for the actual save as we go forward. Yeah, you're going to have to let me know. Ideally, I'm going to plough as much of the money that we get into upgrading training facilities, stadiums, stuff like that. But I guess the options are, how are we playing this save? Are we going to do it with, let's just make it a normal save now and buy whoever we want and get Botafogo back to the top of Brazil, winning the Copa Libertadores, and we end it there? Or do we still take our time and play it as a net gain save, so we can only spend the money that we bring in through transfers? Is it a youth-only save? I don't know. Let me know down below. But yeah, so into the game then. We're going to be playing against Flamengo. We'll clear this team so that we pick a whole new team. And it's an interesting game because it's a dead rubber, really. We've both qualified from the Rio State Championship. Fluminense are just behind us, but they're more than likely going to qualify. Resende are doing a good job up there. Vasco da Gama struggling a little bit, but they'll probably edge out Resende, you would imagine. There's 2 games to go before the draw is done for the semi-finals. I think what we'll do is probably just come back for the final of it if we get through, because I imagine the video will be quite soon after this one if we do the semi-finals. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And then the plan will be to come back for the opening day against Santos, which is one of the hardest games I think we could probably get. Other than Flamengo, Santos is probably the best team in Brazil, as the opening day of the season, which will be absolutely ridiculous in May, which is like 2 months away. So yeah, right. Let's get into the game against Flamingo. We've got a good assistant manager. He's new. He's good tactically, so he's going to come in and help us with the opposition instructions. We're going to pick our team right here, right now. So Gatito Fernandez is still out, and I'm not going to risk him with a hip injury. And Lorere has been playing. Diego Lorerio is actually playing pretty well, so we'll keep him in there. Rafael will be at right back. We're going to go strongest team against Fluminense. So we'll have Kanu and Klaus at the back. We will play wing back left will be, let's go for Carlinhos. He hasn't played over. I think he is he better than Jonathan Silva? Let's have a little look. Let's go Carlinhos. So Jonathan Silva is better at defending, better mentally, better aerially. Not as good technically. They're the same attacking, not as good vision, same speed, and better physically. So you'd probably argue that Jonathan Silva is probably the man to pick on a wing back on attack. He's taller. He weighs less. He's got more acceleration, but he lacks a bit of pace. Strength. He's got more strength. He's better at tackling. He's got less technique. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's much of a muchness, isn't it? Average 10, 11, 11, 11, 12, 11. We'll go with Jonathan Silva because he hasn't let us down and his physical attributes are a little bit better. We'll go with, in terms of running through, it's going to be sticking with Barreto. Fabinho will play as the ball winner. On the right-hand side, we'll be sticking with Luis Fernando. There he is. In behind, this is the one position we're sort of lacking a little bit. So Juninho and Vitinho have sort of been rotating. Juninho's been the starter. So again, no real reason to change it. But he has been playing okay. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. The advanced forward will be Nascimento. And we will bring back Che, who I think is fit enough to play, 60 minutes. So he can definitely start in this one. We will have Vinicius Lopez on the bench. We will have Felipe Ferreira on the bench. We'll have Vitinho on the bench. We can name so many subs in this one. Diego Goncalves can sit on the bench. What are you moaning about? Amount of playing time? Oh, sod off. Yeah, you're all right. I mean, you should probably get a bit more games, but we're not playing with a left winger at the moment. So, sucks to be you, doesn't it? Carlinhos can go on the bench. We'll put Breno on there because of his versatility. Henrique Luo can go on there. We'll call up In fact, we'll put Gatito on the bench now that he's sort of coming back to full fitness. He can be on the bench rubbing his hip, trying to make himself better. Who else should we put on there? Let's put Gabriel Conceição on there. Enio hasn't had much game time, so I'll put him on there. We've still got 2 subs to fill. Borges can go on, and let's put Kekui, I think is how you'd pronounce that. But anyway, that's the team we're going to go for. Che is lacking match fitness. Yeah. We'll sort that out. Don't you worry about that. Right, into the game we go. So team talk, all of that good stuff coming up. They've got. Is that William? Oh, they I didn't realise as well when we played Flamengo that David Luiz now plays for Flamengo. I didn't realise he'd moved back to Brazil. I thought for some reason he'd gone to Russia. It's a very hard-fought rivalry. Get out there and do it for the fans. So. Yeah, this Inter Rio State does throw up quite a lot of rivalries. We've not picked Vinicius Lopez today. He's been in good form recently. Squad rotation. What sort of challenges do you face when coming up against a team like Fluminense? I think we're better. So, yeah. They've been on a good run recently, find themselves third. We'll enjoy 2 teams going head-to-head. And here we go then at Fluminense, managed by Abel Braga. They're playing a 3-3-2-2 with Felipe Melo, once of Juventus, in their midfield. And there's our 4-2-2 or 4-2-2 lopsided asymmetric thing, which I've saved as the formation called Botafogo Take 2, I think it's called. And it's working, so we're not going to change it just yet. Into the game we go. Black and white stripes versus red and green stripes. It's a Rio State rivalry. Let's see if we can get something out of this game. Refereed by R. Tracy. It's a bit humid. It's a little bit wet and damp, but Juninho cross blocked. Lucas Claro heads it away. Juninho picks it up into Rafael. Back to Fabinho. Fabinho just holding on to it into Che. And there he is dropping deeper to come and get the ball, like we said. Picks up, leaves that space for Jonathan Silva on the left, who can't quite get his cross in. Goes back to Fabinho. Fabinho holding on to the ball well into Juninho. Here's Barreto, shoots from range. Good save from Fabio over the bar. And it will be a corner. Now, obviously, we are doing near post corners because the AI does it against me and it really pisses me off when they score. So I like to do it against them and hope that the AI somehow gets pissed off when we score. But yeah, you never really know. Good tackle there. No, it's not. Rafael picks up a talking to, not a yellow card, which is good. 8 minutes gone. 0-0 in the Rio State rivalry against Fluminense. 14 minutes gone. Time is going fast. Let's give some encouragement. Carnu wins the header. Fernando, Barreto, Juninho, Fabinho, Che, again dropping deep, picking the ball up, leaving that space for Jonathan Silva, who lost it and got it back, and it's given back to Fabio, who clears it away. Carnu with the header again. And that is the one time Rafael has bombed on, really. He does do it occasionally. And that's a penalty, ref. I said we're winning lots of penalties in this. It's going to go to VAR because it looked close to the edge of the box. And referee, he's going to go to VAR. It's been a given. It's another penalty. I think we've had one every game in this Rio State Championship, which is crazy. And it's going to be Luis Fernando, and he fires it in the bottom corner. He's very good at those penalties. His 6th goal of the season. I've got a feeling 4 of them are penalties, if I remember rightly. I think that's his 4th penalty in the Rio State, as Nascimento's taken one for his hat-trick. I've just punched my microphone, so apologies about that. But yeah, Fernando puts that one away. It gives us the lead, and we'll just give him a bit of praise because we're 1-0 up away at Fluminense in a rivalry game. So I'm sure they're going to be loving that. But yeah, the system is working. The system is slowly getting there and slowly playing into our hands. And the guys are understanding what we want them to do. It's another header won back there by Klaus this time. Juninho over to Jonathan Silva, who just loves bombing on that left-hand side. He goes for a dink. Oh, Fabio, what a save. Jonathan Silva, the left-back, bombing it up that left-hand side. Went for a little lob. Couldn't quite make it stick. Fernando puts it in. It's headed away. And the only disappointing thing here is that Nascimento is not getting into the game as our striker, but when we're 1-0 up, it doesn't really matter. Rafael, Barreto comes forward. Can he whip across? Rafael gets it back into Barreto again. Dinks it across. Juninho, he's hit the post. Oh, the young attacking midfielder. And what I do like about this, money or no money, the youngsters that Botafogo have got are actually playing reasonably well. Like, they've got the right attributes in the right places. As that looked offside, I think it's going to be disallowed. Cano has put it in the net, but it did look like it was offside. He looked like he was quite beyond the line of our defence, and it is been disallowed. So it remains 1-0 as Germain Cano got ruled off. I'd say it looked offside. Yeah, he was well offside. Klaus just stepped up at the right time and left him in an offside position, which is great defending from Klaus. As we get to half-time, 1-0 up, and they really haven't created very much at all. Yeah, let's stick with the fans. We'll stick with saying this one is for the fans, and we'll, just give the old encouragement, saying go out there and prove it. You can do really well. And into the second half we go, and they make a double change. Felipe Melo and David Duarte coming off. I don't think it's going to be too long until we take off Nascimento up front for some fresh legs. It's annoying I've bigged him up and he's not played very well. That is a little bit disappointing as Claro goes back to Fabio. Long again, and it's an easy bring down for Klaus. The back two, Klaus and Canu are producing good performances together as Nascimento is in and he's dinked the keeper, and it's the classic chatting to the microphone. The computer hears it, and then the player you're moaning about scores, or normally when you say they're playing well, they get sent off. But yeah, Barreto into Juninho, lovely little through ball into the corridor, and Nascimento waited for the keeper to commit and dinked it over him. I think we're going to struggle to hold on to Nascimento and Canu. I think are the biggest worries I've got in terms of losing players for low minimum fee release clauses. So yeah, it'll be very... Oh, minimum fee release clauses are crazy in Brazil. So similar to Spain, you have to have a... we've got Jonathan Silva's injured. Carlinhos comes on. And we are going to replace Shea with Vinicius Lopez, who has been in good form as well. But... So you have to have a domestic minimum fee release clause similar to how they have it in Spain. Like every contract has to have a minimum fee release clause which can be activated domestically or internationally. In Brazil, it's domestic only. But what happens is that it reduces by 10% for every year of the contract that expires. So if you gave someone like £1 million release clause, every year that would drop to by 10%. So it really keeps you on your toes about renewing contracts. And we've got another goal. He's offside. I think Fabinho is going to be renewed offside. It was renewed offside? I think Fabinho is going to be flagged offside as Canu flicked the header on. Fabinho is there to put it in, but it is disallowed. So it remains at 2-0. And with 5 minutes to go, that is very, very close. I'm not sure about that. I'm really not sure. But with 5 minutes to go, let's take... Rafael off. We'll bring on Borges. I don't know. Names are tough. And we'll leave it like that. Actually, I don't really need to take Canu off. He's playing all right, and centre back. So I don't really like to change them unless they're playing really poorly. But yeah, contracts, minimum fee release clauses, the fact that there's loads of different seasons and competitions. Like I'm very confused about what's going on. But we'll get there. We'll get there as Fabio goes long into Borges. And Kiao picks it up. He goes long looking for Rojas. Fred into Carlinhos, who does very well, who's now come on with fresh legs. Up to Nascimento. Look for Vinicius Lopez, but the pass wasn't brilliant. And Nino into Pineda. Goes long, and that was meant for Fred, but it was well overhit. So Barreto can take over. Juninho into Nascimento again. Nascimento left foot this time. Can't quite make it count. And, that was something I wanted to touch on. With Rafael at inverted wing-back, he can use both of his right and left foot, so he's incredibly comfortable, like drifting in to the inside midfield spot, like the holding midfield spot. He does it really, really well. But yes, there we go. 2-0 win against Botafogo. We win the rivalry in the Rio State Championship. Nice work, everyone. That was cracking. Our owner's given us loads of money. He's taking it out of Crystal Palace and pumping it into Brazil. It's lovely. It's lovely. We'll let the assistant deal with that because he's pretty good at man management and motivating. But yeah, 7 points off Flamengo, so they're going to win the league part of this. But it'll be very interesting to see who we get in the semi-finals. And then hopefully the final. That is what we want to do. But look at that. Look at that. 19 shots to 8, 3.09 XG to 0.81, and possession 52 to 48. We are playing very well. I will say, Brazilian players seem to be very susceptible to injuries. We are picking up a lot of injuries, as we've got a guy called Pedro China in our reserves. One thing I haven't done is really looked at the reserves yet. I do think we've got a good number of youngsters coming through, but this guy looks he looks like he could be okay. I mean, determination 6. Oh my god, determination. This episode's been a bit jumping around all over the place, but Juninho picking up a lovely man of the match there with 7 key passes. We'll send the assistants to that. But yeah, the team significantly lacks determination. It's either really, really good or really, really bad. So third. Obviously, I picked someone that's got average determination with 13. But so again, another one that's got 13. Where is it? So 12. I'll keep picking all the average ones. What is going on here? There you go. Determination 7 for Keiki on loan. Daniel Borges 11. So they're just not incredibly high, like 7 again for Conceição, and it really does affect training. It really seems to affect how much they put effort wise into training. Determination and work rate seems to really influence what their training rating is. So if we go into the individual over here, training rating, so Luis Fernando, work rate 13, determination 12 is a pretty good mix. If we compare this to like what we were getting at Sunderland though, when everyone was getting like 9s and things like that, yeah, it's interesting to see. So work rate 13, determination 13, Canu's putting in decent performances. But then right down the bottom, Wendell Lesser, work rate 6, determination 11. So work rate's really low, making he's not wanting to train very well. Ronald getting a 6.10, work rate 14, determination 15. Okay, he's a bit of a... Maybe it's because he's leaving. But that's a bit of a run against the mill. Yeah, and then Carlinios, work rate 13, determination 12, but he's getting to the end of his career. So... yeah, I don't know, just little things that always sort of tweak my interest, and I always think, I need to go and look into that in a bit more detail. But yeah. Anyway, there we go. We got the win against Flamengo. We have Portuguesa up next in Rio de Janeiro. Portuguesa RJ is Rio de Janeiro. And then it will be the semi-final and the final, hopefully. So if we get there, we'll come back for the final of the Rio State Championship. And if not, we'll come back for the start of the season against Santos. So yeah, let's see how it goes. But thank you so much for watching. As I said, let me know what you think we should make this save now that our owner has put in a hell of a lot of money into the club. It's very, very interesting to see how it's all going to work out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. For now, I'm out. Cheers.